I'm Alyssa. I grew up in Long Island, New York. Well, very early on in my life, my parents started fighting. My mom was pretty unstable. From all the stress, my dad, he would slam his head on the walls. And I figured, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do to feel better because my dad's doing it too. So he saw me doing that and he stopped, but it kind of turned out that it was too late for me to stop because it began an addiction that lasted for 13 years of my life. Eventually in 6th grade, I met a girl at school who had cut marks all over her arms. She showed me how to break open a razor in the locker room, and from there, it got pretty bad. I got hospitalized a few times. It got to the point where I was literally cutting the bottoms of my feet because I knew if I didn't have time during the next class, I would be able to walk around and feel the stinging throughout the day. And having to move from hitting myself to cutting myself, I knew that it wasn't going to stop getting more intense and in-depth for me. And eventually, I had come to the conclusion that one day I'm going to kill myself. I even told the person I was with, I'm sorry, even if we get married one day, I'm going to kill myself. That's just how I'm going out because nothing's ever getting better. I couldn't take it anymore. Satan was pretty much right there, and I didn't know God, so I couldn't see him. But I knew I needed help. I finally admitted that I didn't want to live like this anymore. So my dad, I asked him for help, and he did the last thing he could for me. And he flew me down to Louisiana. My family down here was involved with the mission, and there was something about them. But I didn't like it because I guess I was jealous. And I remember they handed me a Bible, and I was like, what? No. So eventually, I got dropped off of the program, and I wanted out very quickly. It was crazy. It started flooding outside really bad, and everybody I tried calling, they didn't answer, their call just completely dropped. And I was like, if there is a God, I think he really would like me to be here. So, I stayed, and I've accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I've been redeemed. I'm made new. I'm not afraid of myself. I can finally have a razor in my bathroom. I haven't even thought about self-harm in the longest time. I've been very encouraged, and I know there's hope for me. And I'm already seeing glimpses of what's to come in my life, and just that God's going to use me. And in any way that he does, I'm just thankful because he's enough when it comes down to it. So I graduate in a few weeks. Yeah, it's in a few weeks. I'm really excited. It's been a year, and I was asked if I wanted to stay with my aunt and uncle. It's going to be nice to be with my family, and I don't know what God has for me, but I know I'm going to be serving him, and I'm really excited. I don't know.
It's exciting. I'm just super excited. She's a godly woman, and I'm really excited to see what God does for her in the future.
I remember I used to play worship music in the car when she was in the car, even as a non-believer. And she used to kind of sing along, and I'm like, I'm planting a seed. And right now, even if you don't believe, the message is going in.
I remember getting lots of phone calls from her dad, and just the struggle that she was going through. And I was like, hey, we have a place for you. And so she was resistant at first, and she finally came down. I was like, what? She's coming? And so she came, and then even then we gave her a Bible, which she wanted to leave behind because she was not a believer. I remember the struggle you had when you first got here, and I am just praising God to see what an awesome creation he has made out of you.
So just from last year to this year, I see such a big change in her. I see a woman that is awake now, who's on fire for the Lord, and brings me a lot of joy.
I never believed ever, so that was a huge life change to give my life to Christ. Just the amount of growth and the hope that I have now is it's amazing because I have hope for the future, and I have something to live for more than this life.